Raymond Daniel Manzarek, born in Chicago.
Chicago, Illinois.
The Doors keyboard player, attended UCLA Film School. Tell me more about life in Chicago there, man.
Growing up in Chicago was great. It was the house of the blues, man. It was the home of the blues. I had Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and John Lee Hooker and Jimmy Reed and Magic Sam on the radio all the time on the radio, blues stations, brand new songs. Al Benson, the DJ, used to say, here's a new song by Muddy Waters. It's called Manish Boy. It's called I'm a Hoochie Coochie Man. It's called The Seventh Son. I mean, it was like, God, these were all like brand new records. It was amazing. And the museums were amazing. A great art institute and the Field Museum of Natural History. Lots of theater would come through Chicago, and so I cut my artistic eye teeth on the south side of Chicago.
That's right. As a matter of fact, you did some art schooling, I believe, before attending UCLA Film School.
No, piano. Yeah. I didn't. I'm not a painter. I can't do that at all. I met my wife in an art class, Dorothy Fujikawa, but God Almighty, I couldn't draw. That the only thing that was good about that class is that I met my darling in there. We've been married ever since.
Piano lessons at an early age.
Yeah,
Scales, chopsticks. She'll be coming around the mountain.
You got it, man. 7 years old. I tell about it. I remember my first piano lesson. It was such a trauma that I remember the very first lesson with this little professor guy, and I tell the whole story in my new book.
Working class folks, Mom and Dad, Ray?
Yeah. Dad was a UAW man, United Automobile Workers of America, a union man, and Mom was at home and raised 3 boys.
Now, you leave Chicago and end up in Los Angeles.
Right, UCLA Film School.
And fellow UCLA film grad, budding poet, and aspiring King Lizard were the band Nucleus. How did you meet Jim Morrison?
I met Jim Morrison in film school. We had a couple of classes together. We hung out together, got to know each other well, got high together, got stoned together, laughed and joked, talked about John Coltrane and Sonny Rollins, and talked about Beatniks, Jack Kerouac, and like that. And, we got to be good and fast friends, and then we graduated. And after graduation, he said he was going to New York City. Now, here's the thing about the Oliver Stone movie, which everyone wants to know. Oliver Stone's got Jim Morrison dropping out of UCLA. He's saying, I quit. Jim didn't quit, man. He wasn't a coward. A coward. You criticized his movie, and he said, I quit. Jim didn't do that, Oliver. Come on. You did that, Oliver, not Jim. Jim graduated. I graduated. And then we reconvened about 40 days later. I thought he was going to go to New York City, and I'd never even see the dude again. Reconvened on the beach in Venice, California. And I said, hey, Morrison. He's walking down the beach. I'm sitting in there just getting some sun in the sand. And I said, what have you been up to, man? I thought you were going to New York. He said, no, I decided to stay here. And I said, well, great, man. What's going on? He said, I've been writing songs. I said, well, yeah. Because I knew he was a poet. He knew I was a keyboard player. I said, sing me a song. And he sang those words to me from Moonlight Drive.
Yeah.
Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps to hide. And that's it. I was hooked. I said, that's it, man. That's the best lyrics I've ever heard for rock and roll. I'm going to play funky Ray Charles and mysterious organ behind that. You're going to sing. We're going to get a rock and roll band together. We're going to make $1 million.
Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide. Penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high. Let's swim out tonight, love. It's our time to try. Heart beside the ocean on our
I have to ask you a question. What sustained your friendship with Jim Morrison?
The art, actually, the artist, Jim Morrison, the artist, the poet and the art of Jim Morrison. We came together as artists, and our friendship was based on fun, fun and laughter and sharing the same books and the same records and, the same literature together.
You said that the Doors is a representative American group, America being a melting pot. So were we. We put together a lot of sweat, a lot of fighting. All those things people say about America can be said about the Doors. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more for me?
Well, we had a guy from Chicago, a guy from Florida. We had two guys from the West Coast. We had different kinds of personalities. We had different upbringings. I had the working class upbringing. Jim Morrison was the son of the admiral. He was well born and was on his way to becoming, had he not died, we were going to run Jim for president of the United States.
Jim, a Navy brat, though. I like that.
Exactly. He was a Navy brat, man. And John and Robbie coming from the West Coast, and we blended all of the various influences in flamenco guitar, jazz drums, classical music, Southern Gothic poetry, all of the stuff, Native American shamanism,
wow,
black music, white music, American Indian music, people from India, Ravi Shankar music, blended all of that stuff together, like America is a blending of all of those different elements to make this one great country of ours, and that's what the Doors were too.
You called Jim an improviser with words. I saw the exhibit at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame chronicling his life the first time I was there a couple of years ago. And it's just interesting the way they had it set up there with his birth certificate and then numbers of personal items throughout his lifetime. Yeah. The Cub Scout uniform was a killer for me.
Isn't it? Jim Morrison in a Cub Scout uniform, from Cub Scout to black leather pants, black Mamba man, Lizard King. Man, oh, man.
But he was writing poetry at an early age, some stuff to his mom that they also had on display there, which I thought was pretty cool.
Exactly. He was a schooled and a trained poet. This guy was not just some juice head or some stoner writing poetry. I mean, Jim Morrison had studied, Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac and Michael McClure. He loved that kind of poetry.
Now, the first version of the band actually was loaded with relatives. Nepotism is alive and well in the band at that point, correct?
Absolutely. Rick and the Ravens. Yeah, Jim and I plugged into my brother's surf band, Rick and the Ravens. And my brother Rick played guitar. My brother Jim played harp. Then Densmore, their drummer, quit, and that their whole band fell apart. We got rejected by everybody.
Columbia Records, they took you on at first, but then they really couldn't be bothered, right?
Exactly. They signed us. Columbia finally signed us, and my brothers had quit in the meantime and said, "Forget this. This is ridiculous. This is not going to happen," unfortunately. And then Robbie Krieger came and joined the band. So that was like Robbie Krieger's our secret weapon. The magic guitar of Robbie Krieger then came into the band, and that was it. Once Robbie was there, man, the diamond was complete, and we got signed.
He could play darn near everything, too, couldn't he?
Oh, he was great, man. He played flamenco style. He studied flamenco guitar, and he played with his fingers. He never used a pick. He played it just like a flamenco guy, electric rock and roll guitar like flamenco. No one's ever done that.
I must admit, I saw you guys play when I was in college in upstate New York. Admittedly, a lot of kids in that gymnasium did not know who the band was. The first album was only out with Light My Fire. It was an incredible experience.
Oh, great.
You guys did with a lot of colleges at that point?
Oh, yeah, we played, sure, because that was the best audience. The colleges were the intellectuals, and that's who we were playing for. We wanted to play for the intelligent people, and we always thought of ourselves as an intelligent, intellectual band that played rock and roll.
Yeah, but Alabama song, come on, Ray, that was a polka, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it sort of is. It's a nightmare polka, Tony, nightmare polka. Polka of madness and death.
Oh, man, the only thing missing from that song, I think, was Frankie Yankovic on the button box accordion.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, that would have been a good sound. That's not a bad idea. Re-recorded. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. Yeah. Do an improvisation on the whiskey bar. Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. I tell you, we must die. And then he improvises. Cool.
Well, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you say goodbye. We lost our good old mama, and we must have whiskey, oh, you know why. Yeah. Oh, show me the way to the next little girl. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next little girl. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next little girl, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die. Say goodbye. We lost our good mama, and we must have whiskey all your way.
Rock 101, WROQ, the classic rock station, and we're fortunate enough today to be talking with Ray Manzarek from The Doors. Pamela Corson used to tell a story from the very earliest days of the band about your first club gig, I guess the London Fog. Do you remember this? It's the last set of the night. There's only 3 people in the club, a couple of drunks and Pamela.
Yeah,
Can
right.
you remember the rest of that story?
Yeah. Pamela was the first one. Pamela came into the club, and she was like a red-headed little angel, sprinkled with cinnamon. She was just a sweet little thing. And interestingly, and I tell the story in Light My Fire, My Life with the Doors, by yours truly, Ray Manzarek, I tell the story about John Densmore is actually the first one to hit up on Pamela. Before Jim Morrison and Pamela, there was an attempt by John Densmore to make it John Densmore and Pamela Curson. So for like a week there, he was really sniffing and shuffling and kind of scratching after her. Nothing happened, because she was destined for Jim Morrison. And then one day, John was talking to her, and then one day Jim Morrison slid into the booth next to her like a water moccasin sliding into Louisiana Bayou. Man, and that was it. It was all over. John Densmore just kind of eased his way out on the other side. And I tell you, man, John doesn't remember the incident happening to this day. He said, I did not. I talked to him and said, remember when you hit up on Pamela? He said, I never hit up on Pamela. I said, okay, man, that's all right.
The way she tells that story, it was like you guys were just flat out playing. There was only 3 people there, and it was like you were performing like for 2,000, and Jim looked at her and said, you never know when you're going to do your last set.
That's right. There was nobody in the club, but we were burning, man. We were in the club. We were playing our music, and the 4 of us had entered that timeless state. That's the whole point of playing music, to enter that Zen place. And we got there, man. And Pamela, after the set, said to Jim, so why did you guys play so hard? There's no one here. And he said, you never know when you're playing your last set, and you want to go out playing your best.
And you could say that about a lot of different aspects of your life, not just performing.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's the way you should live your life. You live your life as if tomorrow is your last day. Tonight's your last day. So live your life to the fullest and enjoy yourself.
6 studio albums released between January 67 and April 71. Gosh, you guys were prolific.
Yeah, a lot of no wasted time. No wasted time. People waste a lot of time today. We didn't waste time, man. We were potheads and acid heads. I mean, we were buckling down to work and writing songs and making records and touring and just doing the whole damn thing until the last time L.A. Woman and then Jim Morrison just sort of gave out, man. Fortunately, we got a bunch of great vocals out of him, and L.A. Woman came out spectacular, but he went off to Paris, and he was just really kind of burnt out, whether it was from the Doors pace or all the booze and all the hangers-on and all the sycophants that grabbed onto him. I think it was the latter. I think it was all the booze and the Memphis Mafia kind of. He had his own La Cienega Mafia, Santa Monica Mafia, the laughing guys who drink with you, spend all your money and laugh at all your jokes, man. And eventually you're just ruined and spent, and that's what happened to Morrison.
Mr. Mojo Rising. Actually an anagram for Jim Morrison,
That's
wasn't
right,
it?
Mr. Mojo Rising. People have said, I'm glad you know that, man. People have said, what does that mean? That's an anagram. You take the letters, take the letters Mr. Mojo Rising, scramble them up, and they will spell Jim Morrison.
Are you a lucky little lady in the city of light? Or did you know the lost angel? City of night, city of night, city of night, city of night. Woo! Oh! Your hair is burning. Hills are filled with fire. If they say I never loved you, you know they are a liar. Driving down your freeway, midnight alleys roam. Cops in cars, the topless bars, never saw a woman so alone, so alone, so alone, so alone. Motel money, glitter madness. The chain of moved from glad to sadness.
We're back with more from Ray Manzarek, the keyboard player with the Doors, here on Rock 101, WROQ, the classic rock station. I read a while ago that Paul McCartney was asked to replace Jim in the band, and he claimed that he didn't have the charisma. Can you address that story?
Yes, he's absolutely correct. But, when Jim died, we thought about Iggy Pop. We thought about Joe Cocker. We thought about Paul McCartney, a bass player. Hey, that's not bad. The Beatles had broken up. He's a good singer, and he plays the bass. And, that could have been interesting. It would have been a whole different band. But I wouldn't mind playing with Sir Paul. That could have been fun, but it didn't work. I mean, nothing really happened. Jim Morrison is irreplaceable, and the Doors today could play with other people, and they wouldn't be compared with Jim. But back then, man, it would have absolutely been impossible.
And if I don't ask you this last question, my boss will kill me. Something about a blonde from Denmark, Jim Morrison, and Andy Warhol.
That's in the book, man. The blonde is called Nico. She was the famous Nico in the Exploding Plastic Inevitable. She is a gorgeous thing and was one of Andy Warhol's superstar kind of people. Jim Morrison and Nico are doing the do, and Andy Warhol is watching. I can't tell you anymore on the radio because it's too obscene to talk about, but you can read about it in my book, Light My Fire, My Life with the Doors. I'm Ray Manzarek.
Ray, it's another shameless plug, and we love you for it.
Thank you, Tony.
One final thing, I just want to blow a little sunshine up your jeans. With John Fogerty's latest two works still sounding relevant and rocking, I have to say, it would have been a real treat to hear the Doors as we approach the millennium.
Well, it's too bad. It's too bad, man. But it's on film. We're going to be, we're going to be putting out a documentary towards the end of, in another year and a half from now. So as 2000 approaches, we're going to put the Doors documentary together so you can actually see Morrison, Manzarek, Krieger, Densmore. You can hear the sound and you can see the performance of the Doors at the Hollywood Bowl and a whole bunch of other stuff. And we're going to tell the Doors story in a great documentary.
Light My Fire, My Life with the Doors. Is that correct?
That's it, man. Who's the author, Tony?
That'd be Ray Manzarek.
That's right.
And by the way, make sure you listen for Rock On between 9 a.m. and 12 noon, 3 hours here on Sundays here on Rock 101. Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony. A pleasure, buddy. Take care.